Get strong.
Hello everyone and welcome back to another Magic the Gathering deck profile. Today's deck profile I'm going to be doing my Yuma, the Proud Protector deck profile. This is basically an upgrade precon that I don't think I've ever really done an upgrade precon on the channel. When I first saw Yuma, I was actually really excited. I never really played Landfall before, so I was excited to play it. I loved how he plays. For one, he costs one card less for every land in your bin. So he's an 8-drop altogether. Red, green, white, 5 colors. So you got 5 lands in your bin. He just costs white, green, red. Really good. When he enters the battlefield or attacks, you can sack a land to draw a card. Then whenever a desert is put into the graveyard from anywhere, pretty sure it's from anywhere. Yep, from anywhere, you create a 4/2 plant, which is pretty good. So, I think we should get on to the profile. Like, this deck is 40% land, so it's 40 cards of it are land, which is insane. I've never played a deck with like 40 lands, so it's yeah. Should never have problems with mana, hopefully. Well, the precon had 40 lands, so I never really changed the number. I changed the lands around because some of the lands in this deck were bum. So yeah, let's have a look. So yeah, here it is. Yuma, Proud Protector. I am in love with these kind of card arts because all the commanders from the Junction came out in like foil borderless, which is really cool. I really like it. So yeah, Yuma, Proud Protector. So yeah, an 8-drop commander that is actually really good. I do really like it a lot. So we get on to the creatures. For the white creatures, for the new one, we have a Sand Scout. Sand Scout is a 2-drop 2/2. When Sand Scout enters the battlefield, if an opponent has more lands than you may search your library for a desert card and put it into the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. So if you're like, I don't know, 1 mana down, or you're going second, like, you at least always have 1 less land. If you just play this card first by putting down a land, you can have like a total of 4 land. So yeah, pretty good. And whenever a land is put into the graveyard from anywhere, you create a 1/1 white, what is it, red, green and white Sand Warrior creature token. And the really good thing about these is, yeah, this has to be deserts, this is land, but whenever a land really goes to your bin, you should be getting like a token of some sort. And then for the last mono white creature, we're running a Sun Titan, just because there's a lot of mill in this deck, so we want to make sure we can get our little permanents back to the battlefield. For the mono red, we have a Nesting Dragon. All these came in the commander deck. There's like only like 1, 2, 3, 4 creatures. Oh no, 5 creatures I've added. No, 7. I've added 7 new creatures. I took 7 out to put 7 in. So Nesting Dragon, landfall, you put a 0/2 dragon, well, 0/2 egg. Yeah, 0/2 dragon egg onto the battlefield with Defender, and when it dies, you spit out a 2/2 dragon with flying and pay 1 red. It gains +1/+0 at the end of the turn. So you can just have a little army of dragons, well, dragon eggs. There isn't that many ways of sacking them, they just become blockers. The only issue is they can't really block flying at the moment. But having a bunch of loads of blockers is pretty good. The next card is a card from Murders at Karloff Manor. Is Aftermath Analysis. Enter the battlefield, mill 3 cards. There's going to be a lot of enter battlefield or attack. There's a lot of mill. I don't normally like mill, but if I'm playing this deck, I guess I don't really mind if I get milled, because I can hopefully get an advantage on it. I should always have the upper hand when doing mill things, because for example, I may pay 4 mana, sacrifice this, and I return all lands to my battlefield tapped. So all the lands I've milled or sacked, they come back to the battlefield. And the same is pretty much said for World Shaper. Whenever it attacks, mill 3, whenever it dies, turns all lands from your bin to the battlefield. So instead of waiting for this guy to die, I can just pay 4 mana and sack this. And then a little card from Wilds of Eldraine that I really liked and was hoping to use this in the deck one day is Blossoming Taurus. A 4-drop 3/3, which when it enters the battlefield or attacks, mill 3 cards and then return a land from your grave to the battlefield tapped. Activate abilities of lands you control cost 1 less to activate, which is really good. I've got a lot of land in here that has like pay 2 do something, and land creature you control get +1/+1. Perfectly honest, I'm not really ever going to use the +1/+1 because I have no land creatures. I could use Asher Soul the Wild in here. I could, but I decided not to. And then we have another one of the new cards that came out of the deck called Doom Chanter. This card is actually important because this turns every single land you have into... I need to stop yawning. Why am I you? It's like 7:45 in the morning, I guess that's why. Doing it so early just in case the builders make a lot of noise later. It's a 2/3 with reach. And lands you control and lands you own that aren't on the battlefield are deserts in addition to the other types. It also helps with, in case you've seen nothing but green, this deck is majority green. Because lands you control have tap at 1 mana of any colour. He can also tap himself to mill 2, then you gain a life for each land milled this way. I hardly never do that, because gaining the 1 life is kind of eh. Or I'm just tapping this guy for no reason, just to mill 2. I think I'd rather use my other mill cards like mill 3 when on the battlefield other than having to wait a turn, just tapping for no gain. And a Spring Bloom Druid. Ends the battlefield, you may sack a land. If you do, search your library up to 2 basic lands and put them onto the battlefield tapped. Pretty simple. It's a hollow basically. Elvish Rejuvenator. Enters the battlefield, you may look at top 5 cards of your library, put a land card from among them onto the battlefield tapped, and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. It's just more ways of gaining more and more land. We have Protector of Argoth. What type? Titaner? I can never pronounce this girl's name. I have no idea. I'm not good with names. Enters the battlefield with turn land. Yeah, enters the battlefield. You turn a land from your graveyard to the battlefield. It comes in untapped, which is pretty nice. Whenever a land you control is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, create a 5/3 green elemental creature token. Now, Unlike the other cards, this has to be from Battlefield, while like this is from anywhere. But still, it's a really nice card. You're gaining like tons of landfall triggers, because this is basically like a reverse landfall, just when it goes to bin, do something. We have Turn Timber Shower. Whenever one or more lands are put into the graveyard from anywhere, you create a 0/1 green plant. So again, another kind of like reverse landfall when it goes to the bin, make a token. You may pay a green, sack 3 creatures, so you can sack the creatures this guy makes to put a land from the bin to your hand. Yeah, from your graveyard to your hand. Like, it's not terrible. Surely, one late game, this could be pretty good, because you should hopefully have tons of like little guys, either the plant warriors, the elementals, or just plants. You should have enough to keep sacking. And then we have my rubber tap. Rubber tap excavator. This is just another way of playing lands from a bin. That's why it's in here. Like, it's so good that lots of cards. This deck had a lot of good reprints for like creatures like this that allows you to play lands from your bin. Same with Ancient Green Warden, allows you to play lands from your bin. It's also a reach, and he allows your like permanent. If a land entering the battlefield causes a triggered ability of a opponent you control triggers additional time. So all my landfalls triggered twice. Unfortunately, it does not do anything from the bin, but it's fine. And then we have Oracle of Mudina. Play additional land on your turn. You play with the top card of your library revealed. You may play lands from the top of your library. So yeah, just more lands. Like, this deck is, without the lands, this deck doesn't really do much. And then we have Seaboard Muse to help untap all my permanents at the beginning of each other player's untap steps. Wombleweed, this costs 1 less for each land in my bin. It is a 11 drop, 10 colors, 1 green for an 8/8 with trample, vigilance, and reach. It is effectively a little. It is the. Oh, what's it called? What's the big thing? It gives like all your guys are +8/+6 and trample. Greater Hoof is the deck's version of a Greater Hoof Behemoth. Because when it enters the battlefield, other creatures you control get +3/+3 and gain trample to the end of turn. It doesn't give itself haste, but all your tokens get even bigger. Some of them might even become like 7s, like 7/7s with trample at this point. To help me with mana, I've got a Locust Cobra. So these are the landfall guys. Well, enter the battlefield, gain a mana of any color. The card that everyone hates, the Scootsworn. It's disgusting. It can get out of hand so easy in this deck. Because you can ramp so much, you can probably get 6 lands on turn, like, I don't know, 4 if you really got it. Because, for those who don't know what Scootsworn does, I doubt that, but landfall, whenever a land enters the battlefield you control, create a 1/1 green insect creature token. If you have 6 or more lands, create a token copy of Scootsworn. So, if I get my tokens out, like, oh, you play a land, ooh, Scootsworn. I've got 6, so now I create a copy of Scootsworn. I have an additional land this turn. I'll play that. Oh look, both Scootsworns trigger. I create like 2 more Scootsworns. I only have 2 of these, which is that's why we use kind of like dice Oh look, 2 more Screw Swarms, and then you play another, and then you get 4 Screw Swarm triggers, and it just gets insane, more and more insane. So if you ever see Screw Swarm, you kind of want to try and kill it on sight. Well, recommend to kill on sight, because it can get stupid. And then Avenger of Zendikar enters the battlefield, creates a 0/1 plant token for each land I control. Could be 6, could be 7. Hopefully like 8. I like 8. 8's a good number and I like to round up. Landfall, whenever land battlefield under control, you may put a 1/1 counter on each plant you control. Which is great because this deck spits out tons of plant warriors and basic plants. Yeah. This from mainly Zendikar. This. And what else spits out plants? Is that the only thing that spits out plants? I'm sure there's more and I'm just forgetting. But yeah, then obviously this is the creature the commander makes. I made my own tokens because I thought it would be really funny, and it's great. I love them. No, these other guys that you make, but I just had a cactus with a cowboy hat on it. Great. Rampaging Balos, land battlefield, create a 4/4 green beast. And then we go on to multi-cards. I've got like 5 multi-card creatures. 2 that came in the main, 3 that came out in the main deck. So, well, came with the deck, so we'll do them first. Hazan? I have no idea, but Shaper of Sands. He has Desert Walk, so it can't be blocked if the defending player has a desert. That's never going to happen, to be honest. Unless someone else was playing Yuma, which they weren't. Play land, you may play deserts from your graveyard. That's really important, the whole play deserts from your graveyard. I'd rather play deserts than play lands. Well, basic lands. Whenever a desert enters the battlefield, you create 2 1/1 red, green and white sands. So instead of like this guy creating 1, this creates 2. Which is really good. And then we have an Omnath, landfall, creates a 5/5 elemental, and when he or another elemental dies, it deals 3 damage to any target. Now we have Kiri, Talented Sprout. Other plants and tree folk you control get +2/+0. At the beginning of your post-combat main phase, return a plant, tree folk, or land card from your graveyard to your hand. So effectively, the land you sacked using Yuma's ability, you can get back using this. So they work together pretty well. And then we have Minna and then Wildborn. Play additional land each of your turns. You may pay a green and a red to return a land to its owner's hand. Well, a land you control to its owner's hand, and target creature you control gains trample to the end of the turn. Really good, and that's just so you can play that as an instant. As long as you get money, you can keep bouncing and giving your stuff trample in case you really want to. Then we have Radha, Heart of Keld. As long as it's your turn, it has first strike. You may look at the top card of your library at any time, and you may play lands on the top of your library. Then you may pay 6 mana, 4 colors, a red and a green. It gets +X/+X to the end of turn, where X is the number of lands you control. So she can hit very hard, and if this is also on board, you can give her trample too. So yeah. Then for the last, it's actually an artifact creature, Tiller Engine. So whenever land enters the battlefield tapped, which a lot of this deck does, you may choose one. Untap that land, or tap a permanent, tap a non-land permanent opponent controls. So you can just keep tapping all your opponent's guys down, and it's pretty good. if you really want to, you can tap a Soul Ring, but I don't know why you want to tap a Soul Ring since they can tap it in response. But still, tapping opponent's cards is pretty good. So that's it for the creatures. There is a lot of creatures in this deck. A lot of a few new ones and a kind of a lot of old ones. So I guess we should now go on to the artifacts, which won't take so long since it's like only 5 of them. So we have Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, we have a Timepiece, tap, mill 2 cards, pay 2, exile it, and pretty much shuffle your entire grave into your deck. So all that milling you did, you can pay 2 and put them all back. Crucible Worlds is one I've added in just because the more access to playing lands from my graveyard the better. And we have this orb, which I thought was pretty cool because it's a 0 mana artifact that allows you to sack a land to gain 2 life. So you can sack lands in your opponent's turns to gain like either life, creatures. I really like it. I think it's really cool. And the good part is it's very cheap. Like it's like 30p. Cheap cards are good cards. Like, I guess the only real card you need to fork out is probably, I guess, a Crucible if you really don't want a Crucible. So, we have for instances, we have Swords the Plowshare, Electric Revolution, a Chaos Warp, a Crop Rotation, Endless Restoration, Realms Enchanted. For those who don't know what this card does, is you may search your library for 4 lands. Your opponent, an opponent chooses 2 of those cards. 2 goes to your hand, the other 2 goes to your bin. So you can kind of pick out, I don't know, 4 really good lands that you don't care if they either go to the bin or to your hand. Because this deck you can recycle those lands pretty easily. Get a really nice free drop instant. And then Heroic Invention for the hexproof and indestructible. Beast Within for the permanent removal. A Boar's Charm for again protection. And Eldrimia's Call. Yeah, search your library for a creature card, reveal and put it into your hand. Because I don't really want that many creature searches. I don't actually have. That's my alarm. Oi, be gone, I'm recording. Yeah, I don't really have that much creature search, so this is kind of like the main creature search. So, next we have Reclamation. So, return target permanent card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield, and if this card was cast from your bin, you can copy this and choose a new target. So you can get 2 of these going off. A lot of the spell, a few of these spells have flashback. We have this to help with ditching lands and drawing cards. Exile the top 2 cards of your library, you may play them to the end of your next turn. And you may cast this from your bin with Retrace. So, what was it? By discarding a land and paying the extra 3, you can cast this again. Hang on, my dog is whinging. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So, where was I? Explore. Play additional land, draw a card. Catastrophic Pro. This is basically a wall wipe. It deals X damage to each creature. For each mana from a desert spent to cast a spell, you create that many tapped treasures. Well, with this spell, create a tapped treasure token. So you got 5 deserts. That's 5. That's 5 damage, and that's 5 tapped treasures. But that's pretty good. Map the Frontier. May search your library for up to 2 basic lands and or desert cards and put them onto the battlefield tapped. So for other than, because this deck didn't come with Cultivate. It came with Map the Frontier, which for an extra mana you get both of them onto the battlefield, which I think is worth. Hour of Promise. Search your library for 2 land cards and put them onto the battlefield tapped. Then shuffle. Then if you control 3 or more deserts, create 2 2/2 black zombie creature tokens. So instead of paying 5, searching for 2 put on the battlefield of either basic lands or deserts, this searches for any land. Any 2 lands put them straight onto the battlefield. Which really helps because I've got a lot of really cheeky lands in this deck. Well, got to, since I won 40 of them. So, Winding Ray, choose creature or land, fill the top 4 cards of your library, put all cards of chosen type of build this way into your hand and the rest go to your graveyard. Most of the time I choose creatures, so the creatures among them will go to my hand, while the others all get put into my graveyard, so all the lands, spells, unfortunately all the other spells go to the bin, but importantly lands go to the bin. I don't really want them in my hand, I want them in the bin. We have Vengeful Regrowth. So return up to 3 target lands from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Create that many 4/2 green plant warrior creature tokens with reach, and then it has flashback for 8, so I can cast this again from my graveyard. Splendid Reclamation to help with putting lands from my bin onto the battlefield. Majestic Genesis. Reveal top X card to your library, where X is the greatest mana value of a commander you control or own, well, in the command zone or on the battlefield. Put any number of permanent cards from among them onto the battlefield, and put the rest of my bottom of your library in a random order. I really like this card. It's just never had a commander that has like, I don't know, more than 6 mana. Because I had, the highest I've ever had I think is Rammus being, Rammus and Nazan being both 6. While my commander is 8, so you pay 8 mana, look at 8 cards, and put as many permanents onto the battlefield. This card is underrated in a lot of decks, but in Yuma it's really good because you can trigger a bunch of your landfalls. Escape from the Wilds. Exile top 5 cards of your library until the end of turn. Well, they may play those cards exiled to the end of your next turn, and then you may play additional lands. So if you've got 2 lands exiled, at least you can play one of them now and play one of the next turn, or any other spells are exiled too. Then we have Wild Soul's Rage. Deals X damage to any target, and then you put X lands from your hand and or graveyard onto the battlefield tapped. So this allows you to also gain, just like this card, just put your lands back from the bin. And now for the 5 enchantments. And Exploration to put more lands on the battlefield. Crawling Cessation. Beginning of your upkeep, you may mill 2 cards. Whenever 1 or more land cards put into the battle in graveyard from anywhere for the first time each turn, you create a 1/1 green insect. An Undergrowth Recon. Beginning of your upkeep, return a land from your bin to the battlefield tapped. Mending of Dominaria. This is a mill card and a, well, the first 2, mill 2, put a creature from your bin to your hand. Then the third, return all lands from your bin to the battlefield, then shuffle your graveyard into your library, so this also helps with putting everything back in. And then a Whiff of the Wild. Doesn't help with the tokens, but it does give my other non-tokens either 1/1 counter or haste, which is still pretty good. Also means that my big creatures can't be countered. Okay, and now for the 40 land. So we're running the new deserts, being this cactus one. So ends the battle tapped. Taps to add 1 mana of any land you could produce. So it's like a reflecting pool, but it's desert, and you may pay 3. To the end of turn, this becomes a XX green plant creature with reach, where X is the greatest mana value among your commanders. It's still land. So because his mana is 8, this becomes an 8/8 with reach. Really scary. This is basically a blocker in a way. And then we have a Mirage Mesa. Enter battlefield, choose a color, then you can tap for that color. Like, it's fine because it goes to bin, comes back to the battlefield, you choose a new color, so it's fine. And then we're running all of the possible dual desert lands that I'm able to use. The good thing about these ones is when they enter the battlefield, they actually deal damage to your opponent, which is, I think, is pretty cool. So we run all of them. And then we run like Shepherd Dunes, which is taps for colors, or you may pay 1, add a white, and you can pay for Sack a Desert, and creature you control gain +1/+1 to the end of turn, so it just makes them bigger. Desert of the Truth. It's a cycling land. I'm running all the cycling. Running as many of the cycling lands as I can. There are mainly deserts. We have a Runner Ruins. Again, it's just like this. Taps for colors, pay 1, tap for red. And we have Desert of the... We got the red desert, which is cycling, and then so forth with green. Both the green ones. Dunes of the Dead. When it goes into the bin, you create a 2/2 black zombie. Really good because you can just keep sacking this over and over again with the commander or any of your sack spells. Endless Sands. Taps for colorless. You may pay 2 and exile target creature you control. So if there's like a Sword of Plowshare, you can tap and exile with this. You can then pay 4, tap and sack this, and return all creatures exiled with this card to the battlefield. Yeah. And then for the last desert, it's the Arid Archway. It's effectively like, it taps for 2 mana just like Temple of the Forest Gods, but enters the battlefield. You can you put a land from your battlefield back to your hand. If it's a desert, you get the Sky one. So it's a bit slow, but I really like it. It's another good desert because there aren't that many good ones. I think I'm wanting all the good ones I can. So yeah, they are all the desert lands. Now for the regular lands, we're running a command tower because it's a commander deck that has 3 colors. Jetmir's Garden, Lotus Field. Lotus Field becomes really good because it enters the battlefield, you sack 2 lands, but it taps for 3 lands. So it also then fills your bin with lands. Taps 3 of any one color, which is really helpful. A Temple Garden and a Stomping Ground for my shock lands. Field of the Dead is absolutely dumb in this deck. I think this is like £15 now. I pulled this from my bundle box of murders, so the universe told me that I need to play landfall. So yeah, whenever Field of the Dead or another land enters the battlefield under your control, if you control 7 or more lands with different names, you create a 2/2 black zombie. I'm able to gain so many zombies, which ends up being blockers or just bomb rush someone. So really, really good, and it's becoming more and more cheaper, which is great. You gotta love when cards get cheaper. Good reprints. A command beacon to put my commander back in my hand, just in case he gets his command attacks become too big. Frozen. Ends the battlefield taps for colors. You may pay 2, sack it, and search your library for a forest card and a plains card and put it onto the battlefield tapped. To be honest, most of the time it's gonna be these. Most of the time it's gonna be these, because this can be the plains and this can be the forest. Caparassi Courtyard enters the battlefield. You sacrifice it. Search your library for a forest, mountain, or plains. Put it on the battlefield tapped, and then you gain life. And for last card Sackland, it is a Evolving Wilds, because run as many Sacklands as we can because they're good, because they go to the bin, triggering all my stuff, and then Landfall then triggers because lands enter the battlefield. And then we have 5 planes. I am slowly getting all these in this art style because I really like borders. I love showcase lands. I have a whole folder right there filled with them, and it's bad. I've got a bad addiction with showcase lands. 4 mountains, and I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 7 forests, because yeah, this deck is majority green. But yeah. So yeah, thank you to all those who stay along, and this is probably like close to like, I don't know, 30, maybe 40 minutes. But yeah. If you guys also love Yuma, the Great Protector, and want to also upgrade a precon, I think this is a good starting point. Obviously there are a lot of other great cards that you can put in. I just decided as a base, this is as good as you're going to get. Like, it's still great as casual. If you really want to, you can add more cards in here to make it CEDH. But it's pretty good. It's strong as a casual commander deck, and yeah, I'm really liking it. I just love the fact of spitting out 4/2 Little Plant Warriors with cowboy hats. I just think that's pretty cool. So yeah, thank you for watching the video. I am trying to upload more videos now, so stay tuned. And also, if you want to see my other channels, in the description I've got a link to my Elysian Splatters, where I upload all my highlights from like Twitch and best of March, April, June, all of that stuff. So if you also want to take a look at that, feel free to. I've got pretty good videos planned for that too. And yeah, we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.